Today, we're digging into the social battery. That very real feeling that your energy for dealing with other people has just run out. We're going to get into the actual science of why it drains and, more importantly, how you can charge it back up.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been at a party, maybe with people you really like, you're having a great time, but then you get home and you feel completely wiped out? Like you just ran a marathon and all you want is to be alone in a dark, quiet room. If that sounds familiar, well, here's the good news. You're not rude, you're not antisocial, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. It's a totally normal human thing. Your social battery just hit zero. So what exactly is this social battery? Okay, so it's not a medical term you'll find in a textbook, but psychologists love it because it's such a perfect metaphor. It stands for the very real and very limited amount of mental and emotional juice we have for interacting with people. Just like your phone, it has a finite charge.
But see, this isn't just a cute metaphor. It's totally rooted in our biology. Interacting with people is actual work for your brain. So let's get into the science of why that battery drains.
Every single time you're with other people, your brain is juggling a massive amount of data. I mean, think about it. It's processing words, figuring out tone of voice, reading facial expressions, body language, filtering out all the background noise, all while trying to remember social rules. This whole process is called cognitive load, and yeah, just like a computer running way too many apps at once, it really tires your brain out. And all of this is managed by your autonomic nervous system, your body's automatic pilot, basically. It has two main modes. You've got the sympathetic system, which is your fight or flight mode. It gets you all revved up with adrenaline. And then you have its counterpart, the parasympathetic system, which is rest and digest. That's what calms you down. Well, socializing, especially at a loud party, keeps that fight or flight system humming along, burning through your energy reserves. And this limit isn't just for introverts. Not at all. Research has found that after about 3 hours of continuous socializing, pretty much everyone, and yes, that includes the most diehard extroverts, reports feeling way more tired. It really seems like we all have a kind of hardwired social ceiling. Okay, but we all know that one friend who can party all night while we're ready for bed at 9 p.m. So why do our batteries drain at such wildly different speeds? Well, the answer is in our unique neurobiology, what you could call our brain's social signature. Let's start with introverts. It's really not that they dislike people, it's all about their brain wiring. Neurologically speaking, introverts just have a higher baseline level of what's called cortical arousal. You can think of it like their brains are naturally more switched on. So it takes a lot less outside stimulation for them to feel alert and engaged, and a loud, busy place can get overwhelming fast. Now, for someone with ADHD, the big challenge is filtering. Their brain has a tough time suppressing all the competing information. So while they're trying to focus on you in a conversation, they're also processing the music, the lights, the chatter from the next table, and their own internal thoughts. That constant, exhausting effort to manage focus just drains their cognitive resources so much faster. And then there's another trait found in about 20 to 30% of us, known as sensory processing sensitivity. This is what defines a highly sensitive person, or an HSP. For HSPs, the key word is depth of processing. Their brains don't just notice more stuff, they process all of it, all the sensory details, all the emotional undercurrents, much more deeply. And, as you can imagine, that is incredibly energy intensive. So let's just break down why each of these types needs that alone time. For an introvert, the main driver is just straightforward energy depletion. For someone with ADHD, it's that sensory overload and the mental exhaustion from trying to focus. And for an HSP, it's the sheer intensity of deeply processing everything. You see, for all of them, solitude isn't an escape. It's a biological necessity to just reset the whole system. You can actually summarize the HSP experience with the acronym DEES. D is for depth of processing, which we just talked about. O is for being easily overstimulated. E stands for high emotional reactivity and empathy, and this is wild. fMRI scans actually show higher activation in their brain's empathy centers. And S is for sensing the subtle. They're the ones who notice all the tiny details that most people just miss. So what happens when you just ignore these signals, when you keep pushing past empty, day after day? Well, the consequences can get pretty serious. You're not just tired anymore, you're on the fast track to burnout. When you're in that state of chronic social overload, your brain basically goes into self-preservation mode. It puts up a shield, and to conserve what little energy it has left, it starts to numb your emotional responses. But here's the thing, it can't pick and choose. This emotional blunting affects everything. It dulls the joy, the excitement, and the connection, right along with all the stress and exhaustion.
The warning signs are pretty clear if you know what you're looking for. Feeling super irritable or snappy for no good reason, having a hard time focusing in conversations, physical stuff too, like tension headaches or just feeling bone tired. And that deep emotional exhaustion where you start dreading social plans you would normally love. These are all alarm bells that your system is in serious distress.
But here's the most important thing I want you to take away from all this. Managing your social energy is a skill. It is something you can learn, not some character flaw that you need to fix. So let's get practical and talk about strategies for recharging intelligently. The whole key is to actively engage that rest and digest system we talked about earlier. And the science-backed ways to do it can be really simple. Deep breathing, for example, directly stimulates a major nerve that tells your brain you're safe. Gentle movement, like a walk, helps your body process stress hormones. Even just a few minutes in nature can literally lower your cortisol levels. And of course, sleep. Prioritizing sleep is just non-negotiable for brain recovery. Now, a more advanced strategy is to practice what some researchers call selective sociality. This is not about avoiding people. It's about being intentional. It's the skill of consciously choosing to spend your very limited energy on the people and interactions that genuinely fill you up, and learning to politely say no to the ones you know will drain you. It's really all about quality over quantity. At the end of the day, understanding your social battery is a huge act of self-awareness, and really, self-compassion. It's about respecting your own biological limits. So, I'll just leave you with this to think about. What is one small thing you can do today to honor your nervous system and give it the recovery it's asking for?